Hello, I'm Antonio Mora. This is the newsandnews.com Day in Brief on April 23rd at about 7:30 p.m. Anger is growing over the Sri Lankan government's failure to heed multiple warnings from international intelligence agencies that terrorists were planning suicide attacks on churches and tourist sites. CNN is reporting that Indian intelligence specifically identified the apparent ringleader of the attacks 2 weeks before Easter. The information came from the interrogation of an ISIS suspect. The warning was repeated 2 days before the massacres. ISIS claimed responsibility today and released a video that claims to show the bombers. Sri Lankan officials have downplayed ISIS involvement, but they do say the attacks were in retaliation for the mass killings at mosques in New Zealand. The death toll has risen to 321. At least 40 people have been arrested, but authorities are warning that suspects are still at large and that they have explosives. To impeach or not to impeach? That is the question dividing Democrats. A growing number of congressional Democrats are calling for impeachment hearings, but top leaders made it clear last night in a conference call that they are not moving forward, at least not immediately. We have to save our democracy, said Speaker Pelosi, urging caution in a call that involved more than 170 representatives. The party's presidential candidates are also at odds. Just last night, Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris said they wanted to move forward, while Bernie Sanders and Amy Klobuchar warned it could play into Trump's hands. Pete Buttigieg said Trump deserved impeachment, but punted the decision to Congress. Republicans are almost goading the Democrats, believing impeachment would distract them from their agenda, make Trump look like a victim, and help both Trump and congressional candidates in purple districts during the 2020 election. The almost all-out war between the White House and Congress was fought on different fronts today. The Treasury Department again declined to turn over Trump's tax returns, ignoring the second deadline set by the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. Yesterday, Trump sued to block a subpoena from the House Oversight Committee that is seeking information about his finances. Today, the House Oversight Committee took the initial steps to hold former White House Personnel Security Director Carl Klein in contempt. The White House instructed Klein, who now works at the Defense Department, to not appear before the House Oversight Committee for scheduled testimony today. The committee had subpoenaed Klein to respond to allegations that the White House had recklessly granted security clearances, reversing recommendations against them. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ set all-time highs today after strong earnings reports from a wide range of companies. The Dow is also up today, but it's still about a half percentage point away from breaking its record high. Also pushing up stocks was news that sales of new homes jumped 4.5% to the highest level in a year and a half. Jared Kushner doesn't speak often in public, and that may be a good thing. Today he gave a rare interview arguing that the Mueller investigation and other probes into the Trump White House and campaign have had a harsher effect on democracy than Russian meddling. While he said the interference was a terrible thing, he also used hyperbole to dismiss it as no more than a couple of Facebook ads. That is providing plenty of ammunition for Trump critics. Joe Biden is reportedly going to finally announce that he is running for president on Thursday, but he'll do it without much drama or excitement in an online video. He then will actively begin campaigning on Monday in Pittsburgh at a local union hall. The president is heading to France and Britain in June to mark the anniversary of the D-Day landings. The White House said Trump accepted an invitation from Queen Elizabeth for a state visit. He will also meet with French President Emmanuel Macron in Normandy. The Supreme Court gave clear indications about where it stood on the issue of asking about citizenship in the 2020 census. The conservative justices seemed willing to overturn a lower court's judgment and allow the question. They have the votes. The 4 liberal justices were clearly concerned that the question would frighten immigrants and lead to a big undercount that would cost Democratic-leaning areas representation in Congress and federal aid dollars. The brothers involved in the alleged staging of a hate crime against Jussie Smollett are suing the Empire actors' lawyers for defamation. They allege the lawyers made false remarks about them and that Smollett paid them and directed every aspect of the attack, including the location and the noose. Meanwhile, Cook County State Attorney Kim Foxx, who publicly recused herself from the Smollett case but then continued to intervene, has reportedly received racially charged death threats over her role in the investigation. In our alternate universes segment, the great divide between conservative and liberal media, today couldn't have provided more extreme evidence of how choosing to watch or read only one source of news will leave you seriously underinformed, even misinformed. It's especially true of the cable networks and their chosen narratives. Fox is playing up the Wall Street story, gleefully highlighting Democratic divisions over impeaching Trump and showing outrage over calls from Democrats to allow prisoners to vote. Some of the Fox folks are echoing Trump on impeachment, almost daring Democrats to start impeachment proceedings because they think that will help Republicans in 2020. If you'd watched CNN at 4 p.m. today, you would have thought the most important story in the world was Kushners' downplaying of Russian meddling during the 2016 election. They dedicated 12 minutes at the top of the show to that. A supposedly objective anchor went as far as calling Kushner ridiculous. They focused exclusively on his hyperbole, conveniently ignoring that he also said that what Russia did was a terrible thing. I watched with CNN for well over 2 hours this afternoon. They didn't even mention Wall Street's record-breaking day, and they were subdued on impeachment. Alternate universes indeed. Finally, think about a future where you get home from work in your self-driving car, settle in for the evening, click on an app, and suddenly your car becomes a Robotaxi, picking up fares and making you money while you sleep. Sound far-fetched? Not according to Tesla CEO Elon Musk. He is promising autonomous vehicles as soon as 2020 that can be summoned in the same way you do an Uber or a Lyft. He's proposing both dedicated robotaxis while also allowing Tesla owners to add their private vehicles to the ride-hailing fleet. Car owners would pay a fee of 25 to 30% of the fares paid for the rides in their Teslas. Musk says he's confident he'll have regulatory approval somewhere by next year. The devil will be in the details. We have those stories and much more updated around the clock 7 days a week at newsandnews.com, where you will find all you need to know in one place. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the right of your screen just below this video. Please follow us on Facebook at Real News and News, and follow me on Twitter at AMoraTV. I'll see you again tomorrow.